Alrighty, so all these quarterfinal game of the Leeds Cup is finally in the books, and I gotta say, I really hope this is the last time we're going to see these ridiculous kickoff time. I mean, the last game of these quarterfinal of the Leeds Cup didn't even start until 15 minutes past midnight in the East Coast and 9:15 p.m. Pacific time. This is probably the latest I've ever seen a game kicked off, and me doing a review right after, besides a weather delay that happen. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous that we have these kind of start time. And fortunately for me, I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I have a day off, and I basically can do the review as late as possible. But considering the average Joe and the fact that it is a work week, I mean, yeah, I mean it's absolutely ridiculous the fact that some of the people will of course have to stay up very late to watch this game, and especially if the Leeds Cup wants to improve their ratings, yeah, starting games this late into evening is not going to be the case. So yeah, like I said, hopefully this is the last time we see these games kicked off so late into the evening. Now that being said, in terms of all of these quarterfinal game, well, it turns out to be a sweep in terms of MLS team. I definitely did not expect heading out of all four of these quarterfinal matchup that every single MLS team was able to win their quarterfinal matchup, and now it's pretty much an all MLS tournament in the Leeds Cup, and I'm not sure that's for the better or for the worse. I feel like it may be for the worse because people have questioned the legitimacy of this tournament and the competitive that is, and it feels like this is now going to be the third Leeds Cup tournament in a row under this format that we are going to guarantee an MLS team winning this tournament. But with that being said, let us actually look at the first game, which is Inter Miami versus Tigres, and I think this is probably the most exciting one out of the three that we saw tonight. Because when you look at the other games, I mean, some of these ones were a little bit dull to see, but this one was definitely entertaining, and we knew this was going to be the case. I mean, this is a marquee matchup between two heavyweight team, two very ambitious team from their respective league that is. And in the end, the difference with this game really was a game of inches. I mean, I know it sounds like a cliche, but this game literally was a game of inches, especially what happened late in this one. Now, in the first half, as expected, Miami was on the front foot and dictated the early play. It's also important to note that Messi did not play in this game. They mentioned that he suffered an injury, which is kind of suspicious because didn't he play over the weekend and he was doing well over the weekend as well. So whatever injuries that he picked up, I mean, I don't know what exactly it is. Hopefully, it's not something serious. But yeah, it was kind of weird to say that I heard that he was unavailable in this game because of injuries when he literally just played 3 days ago and did very well in that game as well over the weekend. Now, as we get back to the game itself, there was no shot for the first 14 minutes of the game, but the possession was heavily in favor of Miami. This was kind of interesting to see, two teams that likes to have possession. Which team's going to have to make that sacrifice to give up possession? And it looks like early on, it was Tigres the one to do so. They kind of set back a little bit. Miami had most of the possession, but if there's one thing I also know about Tigres in this tournament is that they always tend to get off to slow start. We've seen a lot of games that Tigres play in the Leagues Cup where they always tend to not start off very well, and sometimes teams have been able to take advantage, and Miami definitely took advantage of it because after the first shot of the game did see Correa puts it high from long range, a penalty was given to Miami as Aquino handballed this one in the box. Wouldn't be the last time we would talk about that happened in this one, and here comes Luis Suarez steps up to take the penalty, and I know no, ideally you would want Messi to be in that spot, but Luis Suarez is not a bad option to be your second choice PK taker, and he buries that one to give Miami a 1-0 lead. Lande was in on goal there, but was blocked by Parada. But then it falls to Suarez, and he had a chance to make it 2-0, but he was denied by Guzman there. The momentum was definitely with Miami. They were pressing to try to get another. Alba would then puts it just wide from long range. It was shot for a penalty for Miami that was not given not long after before Linus would puts it wide, as that was a rare opportunity for Tigres. Miami was absolutely dominating up to this point, but I also thought that was a warning sign for Miami because again, not only the fact that this is still 1-0 and this is where I'm start thinking that all the dominance that they have and the inability to get that second goal is that going to come back to haunt Miami, especially with the way that Tigres has that ability to come back in games. Segovia would then hit it right to Guzman, and at halftime, Suarez and Ibanez kind of had some choice words with each other. So yeah, not quite sure what exactly that was all about, but the most important thing that happened at halftime is that Mascherano actually decided to show his displeasure toward the referee because of the additional added time that happened, and he also stormed off to the locker room as soon as he does that. So yeah, it turns out that not only he showed his displeasure toward the referee and also the fourth official, but he must have said some magic word toward them because as soon as he comes out of the tunnel, the referee gave him a red card. I think that's probably the first time I've seen that happen. Usually, when you see a head coach decide to say the magic word to some of the referee as he comes off, the referee would literally just send him off there. So this is kind of the first time I've seen it happen when he comes out of the locker room, that is the head coach, that is, and getting ready for the second half. I mean, that was a bit of a delay red card, that is, but nevertheless, he was sent to the stands, or at least that's what we think he is, because throughout this game, they basically showed that he was sitting in the first row and pretty much was sitting right above the bench of Inter Miami. I mean, I'm not quite sure if that's a definition of sending someone to the stands, and it gets even more wackier too, as we'll talk about this situation and maybe a possible fine or suspension that Marciano be um might be getting after this game after he really kind of pulled a Miguel Herrera situation in this moment, but or in the later moment, that is. But Tigres then I thought start the second half the stronger side as they were pressing for the equalizer. You kind of had a sense Miami was starting to wear down a bit as this game goes along. The post would then deny Linus from long range in the 56th minute, and then this is where we saw the Miguel Herrera situation where Mascherano's basically was talking to assistant head coach and was giving instruction on his phones. They were literally doing a FaceTime call to his assistant head coach. Obviously, that is absolutely illegal, and unfortunately, that might give ammunition to some of those people that have said that. Yeah, Inter Miami basically break some rules or find ways to bend the rules to their benefit. And also, the reason why I mentioned the word Miguel Herrera and El Puyo as well is because remember a couple of years, I think this was doing the COVID CONCACAF Champions Cup tournament where he was sent to the stands and he was using his walkie-talkie to still talk to his assistant, and eventually got fined and suspended because of that. Something tells me it's gonna happen with Marciano as well because it was pretty obvious that you can't do that. Like that is a I'm kind of surprised the fourth official didn't even just decided to say hey, you can't be there. You have to be actually sent to the locker room or sent further back in the stands, and you can also communicate with your staff as well because when you're sent off, you're supposed to cut off communication there. So we'll see whether or not if the Leeds Cup, and especially I think Pontiac is the one that runs this Leeds Cup, that can maybe punish Marciano for his reaction and his stunt that he is. I mean, if they did that with El Puyo, I'm assuming it's probably going to be the same thing with Marciano. He's probably going to get a hefty fine and suspension because of it. But that being said, in the 67th minute, Tigres ties the game up. It's Correa. He scored from Bernetta to tie the game up at one apiece. Yeah, Angel Correa, he is just unstoppable in this tournament right now. But at the same time, you kind of saw that coming. I mean, Tigres was just dominating the second half. Miami was looking like they were out of gas. Lande did look to answer, but he missed high in the 70th minute before Ustari denied Pereira from long range. And really, as the time winds down, Tigres, they continue to control possession. Miami was just hanging on. They looked like they were gassed and they were just praying that this one goes to a penalty. But instead of going to a penalty, they get themselves a penalty late in this game because Aquino for the second time in this game commits a handball offense. This time they had to go to VAR to see whether or not if that is the case. I mean, before when they go to VAR, I was already gonna put yeah, VAR is gonna deem that Aquino handballed it because that was a definition of a handball. This one I think is even more egregious than the first one that he committed. But nevertheless, a penalty was given to Miami, so here comes Luis Suarez for the second time to try to score the penalty. Now, normally when you have to face Nahu Guzman for the second time. That is, I mean, facing Nahu Guzman the first time is already tough, but to do it for the second time, I mean, that's no easy task. But this is Luis Suarez we're talking about. There's a reason why he is the best number nine or one of the best number nine in the history of this game itself. And yeah, for the second time, he beat Guzman here. He actually went the other way there. Guzman thought that he was gonna go the same way. But nevertheless, that gives Miami a 2-1 lead. And then in the first minute stop time, Correa looked to respond, but he struck both posts. And in fact, they actually had to look to see whether or not when the ball struck the first post and then it bounced to the other post, did the whole of the ball cross the line? The answer is no. The whole ball didn't cross the line there, but it was not by much. I mean, it was just inches away from crossing the line there. And then later on, as we were looking at back at the replay, Alande tried to chip Guzman from about halfway line, but he hits this one wide. Miami was still pushing to try to restore that 2 goal lead, and that was kind of baffling to see how they were still going on the attack and still kind of launching long balls when when you're a team that is just trying to hold on to a lead. The last thing you need to do is just kind of keep launching long balls and give possession right back to opposition. That's kind of the thing. As a Minnesota United fans, I've seen that happen a lot with my team, and how much I hate whenever that happens. It drives me absolutely nuts. So I can't imagine that must have driven Miami fans nuts, seeing the players were just still going for it and try to play these hopeful long balls that didn't work whatsoever, and keep giving Tigres chances to get themselves the equalizer. Luckily for Miami, they were still able to hold on to get the 2-1 win. As the shots in this one, 13 shots with the 12 that Tigres had, 2 shots on goal for the 4 that Miami has, 4 shots off target with the 3 that Tigres had. Both teams had 5 shots on was block and possession-wise, 59% possession compared to 41% possession that Miami has in this one. So for Miami, they passed the first big test by knocking out one of the favorites in this tournament, the mighty Tigres, that is. But now they got another big test coming up, because from seeing a team that's nicknamed the Tiger, now they're gonna face a team that's nicknamed the Lion. Because guess what? The Florida Derby is gonna happen once again, and for Orlando City, I mean they're probably licking their chops again of hoping to beat Inter Miami for the third time. But as the old saying goes, beating an opponent 3 times in a row, it is incredibly difficult to do. And deep down that Inter Miami, as much as that they hated the fact that Orlando City kind of had make fun of them in terms of beating them for the first 2 time in league plays. If Inter Miami gets that revenge over Orlando City, yeah, they're gonna let those Orlando City fans know that, yeah, you might beat us twice in the league, but when it really matters in a knockout competition, we beat you. Yeah, and that's all it matters. Speaking of Orlando City, so the reason why we have a Florida derby is because Orlando City also won their matchup in a game where, yeah, talk about big test and certainly a big surprise. This was definitely one of them. Though I would say that the biggest surprise I would say coming out of this game, there was no goal that was scored in this one, and that it turns out to be one of the most boring match that we've seen in this Leeds Cup, and that would be just kind of complete 180 of what we thought we were gonna expect in this game. I mean, I thought we were gonna see some fireworks early on. It definitely looked like that was the case, but as the game goes on, especially in the second half, man, it was really tough to watch. Seeing both of these teams were pretty much just forgot how to set up plays in the final third. Like every time when they get to the final third, both teams just kind of forgot how to create chances. Now in the first half, there was pretty much no one in attendance for this game. Not a big surprise. I mean, I know this technically is kind of like a hub for Toluca, that is to play at the Hell Sports Park. But what did you expect? You knew there was going to be a lot of fans attending this one. Obviously, there's not going to be a lot of Orlando City fans attending this one because, yeah, on a short notice for a crossway country. I mean, if there is some Orlando City that make the trip, I definitely salute them in terms of making the trip, because on such a short notice like that, you're not going to get any away fans going to the game. Let alone in the middle of the week. That is. But the first shot of the game did see Angulo puts it one from long range, and this is the Angulo from Toluca. That is. There was 2 Angulo in this one from each team. Freeman thought he put the ball into the back of the net in the 5th minute, but the goal was disallowed for offside. Orlando was definitely on the front foot. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. The Angulo that I was mentioning in the 3rd minute was actually from the Orlando City Angulo. Again, this is why I probably should have put it in the first initial of the first name of these two players, to not just confuse you and also myself as well. But there was no doubt that Orlando was pressing to try to get the opener earlier. Galese, though, denied Paulino from close before Vega had a shot that was deflected and goes wide. So yeah, Toluca probably saw what I wrote that, and they said, "Yep, not so fast." But there's definitely feel like there was no feeling up here in this game, and again, early on, it definitely lived up to what we thought we were gonna see. We thought this was gonna be a game where there's gonna be fireworks and that both of these teams were already pushing early for the lead. And in the 16th minute, Ojeda put the ball into the back net. The problem is it was offside again, and they actually had a really long look to see whether or not indeed if this is offside. Eventually, they said it was offside, so the game remained scoreless. But the game did start to slow down a little bit after kind of a frantic action in the first 16 minutes of this game. Things started to slow things up. Orlando kind of started to sit deep and try to hit on the transition game. It feels like we're seeing a very Oscar Perez type of road game where he always tends to likes to do this, where he like to sit deep a little bit and try to maybe hit on a transitional attack. Helinho would then have a shot that was deflected and goes wide. Orlando definitely was trying to defend and hold on to a nil-nil lead because up to this point, Toluca was pretty much dominating the possession and dictating the game. Pereira would then head it wide on the ensuing corner, but we do head to halftime scoreless between both of these teams. In the second half, Paulinho had a shot that was deflected and goes wide, and then he had another shot that was deflected and goes high in the 6 minutes into this game. Toluca then was on the front foot again. Oh, I'm sorry, 6 minutes past the game that or 6 minutes after the shot that he had in the 47 minute. See why I hate doing late reviews? My brain started to not function because of how late it is into the evening. But Toluca was definitely on the front foot again as they were pressing for the opener. Ruiz would then head it wide for the corner before Vega would put it high from long range. It was unrelentless pressure that Toluca was putting in. This is where I'm started thinking, oh boy, I don't know if Orlando can hold on to this kind of relentless pressure. The good news is that that was pretty much it. I mean, again, these two halves were very similar. Where just as you thought that there maybe was fireworks in the first 15 minutes, the last 20 minutes it feels like both of these teams just saying, "Nah, we're not gonna really attack. We're just gonna let this play out." Because yeah, the game really started to become stale. Neither of these teams was doing well in the final third, and as we get closer to the end of this game, I just feel like yeah, this had penalty written all over it. Unless if somebody does a magical moment of finishing one of these chances, it's gonna go to PK. And to be fair, it almost happened in the first minute of stoppage time when Dominguez puts it wide from close range. But unsurprisingly, we go to a PK shootout in a game where it ends scoreless, which is something you definitely did not expect from two of the more high scoring team in this Leeds Cup tournament. But that being said, the PK show did win for a while as well, which seems like that's a common theme with the Leeds Cup. That is, we have seen some marathon shootout before so far in this tournament. And what happened here in the PK show is that we had 10 straight PK that was converted. It feels like I was giving Club America a Minnesota vibe again with no one tends to not miss, but it finally happened in round number 6. But both teams actually missed in round number 6 as well. But it doesn't really matter for Orlando City that Enrique put probably one of the worst penalty that he has ever made in his career, but because in the seventh round of the PK show, Galese wins it, and Galese was the hero in this one. In round number 7, he denied Dominguez there and saved 2 straight PK, and then he actually took the PK himself in round number 7. So that is something you usually never there to see where a goalkeeper makes a save on one PKs to set up his team to win, and then he himself decided to take it. I'm pretty sure after what he saw with Enrique missing that penalty, he say, you know what, I'm gonna take it. Like I'm just gonna put my team at my back. I'm not gonna see any of you take the penalty after I make a couple of save, and I feel like that's a good thing to do. I'm surprised not many goalkeepers decide to do that. I mean, I know goalkeepers are not meant to take PKs, but I would assume some goalkeepers would just see how maybe his teammate missed it, and he's just gonna say the next round, I'm gonna step up because I'm tired of seeing my teammates not able to finish these penalty after I make some big save. I'm just gonna take it into the matters into my own hands, and in this case, Khaleesi did exactly that, and he buries it to win the PK shootout, and he was the hero in this PK shootout. So yeah, in the end, Orlando, of course, moving on into the next round. We're gonna have another Florida derby in the semi-final of the Leeds Cup. Shots in this one, 15 shots for the 4 that Orlando City has, 1 shot on goal quicker than none that Toluca has. Yeah, it's safe to say that neither of these goalkeepers were very busy whatsoever. 6 shots off target for the 2 that Orlando City had, 1 shot that was blocked for the 9 that Toluca has, and possession wise, 52% possession compared to 48% possession that Orlando City has in this game. But despite the fact that they were outshot in this one, and the fact that they didn't really do too much, at least on the attacking end for Orlando City, they won't care. I mean, the goal I think for Orlando coming into this one was they're just gonna make life hell for Toluca to attack. They're just gonna bunker in and just kind of almost pray that they go all the way to the PK shootout and see what happens. And it worked. They were able to get to the PK shootout, and they have a not to mention they have a pretty good PK stopper in Galese. Galese is a very underrated PK stopper, and he kind of showed in a big way in this PK shootout as well. With that being said, I am now going to manually switch the board, so I'm not going to just stop the video. Let us just kind of mosey along these next two review. And we're now pretty much deep into the night. I'm really hoping I can finish this review before midnight because right now, what time is it? It's 11:42 in the evening. But in the next game, we got Seattle versus Puebla. So this was the game where thought an MLS team would probably have the easiest time against the Liga MX's opponent. Boy, I could be hardly wrong for the truth. I mean, this was a game where I mean, this is why that in these quarterfinal matchups, sometimes the unpredictability can happen, and it's hard to believe that of all the Liga MX team that play in the quarterfinal, it would be Puebla, the one that really put the brakes on an MLS team, and especially Seattle. They kind of shoot themselves in the foot in this one, and luckily they survived because of some PK heroic from their goalkeeper as well. Now in the first half, Gomez with the game's first shot, but he missed wide there. By the way, to say that PK heroic from the goalkeeper from the Seattle Sounders, I feel like it's unheard of because the Seattle Sounders always tends to lose the PK shootout, and I think this is a game that maybe will be something that for Brian Schmetzer, he'll realize that when the Seattle Sounders are going to go to a PK shootout again, probably going to put Andrew Thomas in there instead of Stephen Fry, because I think if Stephen Fry was in this PK shootout, yeah, the Seattle Sounders probably not going to win it. Stephen Fry is not very good with PK. In fact, he's probably one of the worst PK stopper in in the league, and it's kind of no wonder why whenever the Seattle Sounders is in a PK shootout when Fry is in goal, that they always tends to lose those PK shootouts. But in the 15 minute, Gonzalez would deny Rothrock as that was Seattle's first shot before Monarrez would hit one right to Thomas in the 24th minute. Seattle continued to dominate the possession, but unfortunately, still no way through against a low ball block Puebla defense. It feels like Puebla was kind of playing the Orlando City game in this one against Toluca. They were frustrating Seattle to hell when it comes to trying to create chances. And if there's one thing we know about the Seattle Sounders is that yeah, they don't really do well when they do face against a low block defense, especially when they do not have Albert Rusnak. I mean, Albert Rusnak, I think after this game and really the last game as well against Minnesota, now I think we're starting to find out how important he is with this Sounders team. I mean, he is a guy that for the past couple of games this year, or really just this season and the last season as well, how important he is in terms of being the creative player. And without him, it just feels like this team just have no idea how to create the chances and just look absolutely lifeless going for the attack, just like what we saw earlier this season. De La Vega would then miss wide from long range in the 37 minute. It was a pretty quiet game for De La Vega in this one. It feels like he went back to his old form after he's been on red hot form the last couple of games. Ferreira would then hit it wide from close, but we do head to halftime scoreless between both of these teams. In the second half, Seattle continued to dominate possession, but it's the same story that's to what we saw in the first half. Just no creativity whatsoever. Like it's a Puebla team that was pretty much putting park the bus mode from minute one. Uh, Reagan would then hesitate right to Gonzalez in the 57 minute. The shots were still 7-3 for Seattle up to this point, and both of these teams have only have one shot on target. So if you thought that the Toluca Orlando City game sometimes is a snooze fest, yeah, this was kind of a snooze fest at times as well. Gomez with Puebla's rare chance, but he missed wide in the near post, and that was a big chance too. For Puebla as well. To this point, they didn't really attack whatsoever. And then Alex Rodon would puts it just high from close in the 64th minute. There was a shot for a penalty for Seattle, not given after that. And with 20 minutes to go, it seemed like Puebla not only was playing for a penalty, but the Sounders, again, I said that it's up to them to see if they can finally find the breakthrough, but part of me think that it's not going to happen because they just have shown no creativity whatsoever, haven't really created any dangerous chances or even test the Puebla goalkeeper in this one. This game really kind of reminds me a little bit of when Seattle had problem against RSL a couple of years ago. Where remember that was a game where RSL didn't even register a single shot for the entire game, in Seattle I think registered like 20 plus shot, but they only had like 3 shots on target against David Ochoa, and they lost the PK shootout as a result. It feels very eerily similar, where they just look absolutely toothless going for on the attack. Fiera would then miss just wide from long range in the 71st minute, and then in the 76th minute, this is when Seattle pretty much shoot themselves in the foot. Danny Muswowski would get 2 quick red card here, first for the foul that he does, and then the reaction. Just a rush of blood from Wiswowski here. You know that when you decide to react and especially bump the referee to complain because of a yellow card, that is definitely an automatic sending off. I mean, if he wasn't already on a yellow before, if that yellow wasn't actually given, he would have been sent off either way, because whenever you bump the referee, it's an automatic like red card, it's an automatic violent foul. So yeah, not a great moment there from Wiswowski, and now that Seattle is down 10 men for the remaining of the game. Orena would then hits it right to Thomas in the 82nd minute. Puebla might feel like they might not even need to go to PK, because now that they are man up, maybe they could steal one late in this one. Though Fiera would then puts one over on the free kick in the 85th minute, but in the end, we go to another PK shootout, and it's another game where it ends scoreless after 90 minutes. Like up to this point, I'm just thinking, is there going to be any goals that is going to score in any of these games? Luckily, this game did provide some goals, because yeah, if you like goals in these quarterfinal, this was not the night that you were hoping for. I mean, there was only like what 6 goals that was scored in these 4 games. But in the PK show, just like what we saw with Orlando City with their goalkeeper making a heroic, it was Andrew Thomas that kind of stole the show here. He denied Diaz in round number 5 to win the PK shootout. And like I said, next time the Seattle Sounders need a guy to make save from the PK shootout, they need to sub in Andrew Thomas and not have Stephen Fry being there, because Thomas seems like he's already done so much better in these PK show compared to what Fry has done throughout his career. I mean, don't get me wrong, Stephen Fry is a legendary goalkeeper in this league, and he's gonna forever go down as a Sounders legend. But when it comes to PK shootout, yeah, we don't talk about that. He's very bad when it comes to that point. But nevertheless, the Sounders, of course, won the PK shootout. They win it 4-3 in the PK shootout. The shots in this one, 13 shots compared to 5 that Puebla has, but Puebla actually outshot Seattle in this one. 2 shots on goal compared to just 1 that the Seattle Sounders had. I mean, that just kind of sums up how poor they were going through in the final third. Just have no answer in terms of how to break down the low block that Puebla has. 6 shots off target for the 2 that Puebla has. 4 shots off the block for the 1 that Puebla has. And possession wise, 71% possession compared to 29% possession that Puebla has in this one. And with this win, Seattle, of course, is going to have a little bit of a rematch against the LA Galaxy that we saw a couple of weeks ago in league play, because moving on into the final game of this, and I swear I thought this game was never going to kick off because of how late it started, is the Galaxy and Pachuca. And the reason why I said that this game was never, I thought this game was never going to kick off, is because the Toluca game ran a little bit late between Orlando City. I was thinking there is no way in the world this is going to kick off at 8:45. I mean, I had a feeling, even though it says 8:45 on the league website, it's probably going to be 8:55. No way that was going to happen. And I knew it. They pushed it back another 30 minutes. So the kickoff was now 9:15 p.m. local time. Not Eastern time, Pacific Standard Time. I don't think I've ever seen a game that started that late. I mean, in one of the game that the Galaxy play, I think that one started like around 8:55 p.m. Pacific time, which is incredibly late. This is next level late. This is something that is absolutely unheard of, and something that I don't think we'll ever get a kickoff time this late. And I hope not, because this is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if uh, you're a Galaxy fan, I don't blame you not even want to tune into this one, even though this is literally the season for you, because 9:15 on a work day like that. I mean, I'm even kind of surprised that there was actually a lot of fans attending this one, especially Galaxy fans attending this one, because no way in the world on a Wednesday night at 9:15 p.m. That is a night where no one's is going to try to attend at that time because by the time this game ends, it's already going to be past 11 o'clock. That is, but nevertheless, like I said, just a reminder: 9:15 p.m. start on the West Coast. Incredibly stupid, and I hope it never happen again. But by the time the game did started, both of these teams was definitely going gun ho from the beginning, which I'm glad that is the case because this was such a fest that I really started to tune in to this game a lot. This is why I didn't really write too much notes on this one because this game kind of got really boring. Cadiz would puts it wide as that was the game's first shot before Guzman would puts it wide from long range. On the other end, Zanka with the Galaxy first shot, but he heads it over from the corner. The shots were 2-1 early for Pachuca, and on the third shot for Pachuca, it would be Bowerman puts one right to Mikovic in the 18th minute. We then had some coming together between both of these teams. It's safe to say that there was no love lost in terms of this game, and when you have a late night game like that, kind of like an MLS after dark, or in this case, Leeds Cup after dark, there's going to be some shenanigans, and yeah, both of these team definitely show their emotion in this one. Barado would then miss wide from close in the 25th minute. I feel the pressure was starting to mount for Pachuca. Even though the Galaxy started pretty well in the first 5 minutes, Pachuca was definitely starting to put some pressure and try to get the opening goal. Though in the 27th minute, Nascimento had a shot that was deflected and goes wide, but then in the ensuing corner, the Galaxy takes the lead, and it's Aceves that scores the own goal here, and yeah, that was not a great moment for the Pachuca defender, and there was no need for him to put an outstretched leg to try to poke that one away. Like when you're a defender and you're trying to do that there's always the risk that you puts it into his own net. And in this case, I didn't think he needs to do that, but nevertheless, he did do that. It goes into his own net. It's a gift for the Galaxy. But 10 minutes later, they double the lead as Marco Reus would score here to make it 2-0 in favor of the Galaxy, and that looked like the Galaxy of last season, especially how that goal scored. We know last season a lot of the goals that they score has been coming from transitional play. It happened in this one as well. A lightning counter attack as well. I think Peck, of course, was the one that made the run, and he plays it back as well. He's not going to get the assist because it was actually deflected off the defender, but nevertheless, that looked like the Galaxy of last season, and it just kind of makes you wonder how come we haven't seen more of this season as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure Galaxy fans been asking all this year of where has this been for all this year in terms of the miserable season we've been having in league play. But in the 40th minute, Nascimento looked for free, but he hits the side netting. The momentum was all with the Galaxy, and Pachuca. They still look like they're absolutely shell shocked the fact that they're down 2-0. I mean, Pachuca is not an easy team to beat. I mean, they've done well in terms of the phase one phase, and in terms of their season right now, they're actually at the top of Liga MX, even though it is still very early in their the Clausura season. If I'm not mistaken, is it the Clausuras or the Apertura? I'm never able to get the correct one right. It's one of them, but they are at the top of the standings, playing very well. So yeah, this is something you definitely did not expect when you have a last place team in MLS beating the best team in Pachuca, or the best team in yeah, Mekis that is in this game. Painso was then in on goal there, but he missed one in the first minute of stoppage time. But we do head to halftime with the Galaxy leading 2-0. In the second half, Mikovic would deny Guzman from close before he puts it wide from close just 1 minute later. It feels like Pachuca meant business again. I mean, they were pressing to try to get one back. Montiel would then pulls it wide from long range before Kennedy would flash it wide from long range in the 64th minute. I did think that the Galaxy did start to come back into this one and able to break through Pachuca press. The problem early on for the Galaxy is that they just couldn't hold on to the ball. Like they were absorbing so much pressure early in the second half, but credit to them, they ride out that pressure a little bit. Didn't really give up as much chances as what we saw in the beginning of the second half. Though, as I said that, Pachuca started to mount the pressure again a little bit later. Start with Montiel puts it high from long range before Kennedy would hit it right to Mikovic in the 76th minute. Pachuca continued to take some pot shot from long range, and in the Galaxy perspective, even though some of them were pretty close, I think they would say that it was pretty harmless. Though you could also kind of question that they probably maybe need to do a little bit better in terms of closing things down. In the 78th minute, Mikovic would absolutely rob Alameo, but it did actually came of his defender on the save, and he's very fortunate that that one didn't take too much pace to go goal bound, because that would have been a pretty embarrassing thing on goal in the Galaxy perspective. So, and you could even say that on goal given, on goal taken for the Galaxy. But in the 79th minute, Marino would deny Royce, who looked to put this game on ice. El Mayo would then put it wide from close in the third minute of stoppage time, but then in the fifth minute of stoppage time, he would be on target. So he scored from Kennedy to make it 2-1 in favor of the Galaxy. The good news for the Galaxy is that that was pretty much almost the last kick of the game. There wasn't really much time left in this game, though Pachuca didn't think that that was the case. I mean, Pachuca was very unhappy when the full time whistle was blown that they didn't even get one last chance as well. But nevertheless, the Galaxy, in a game where pretty much just defined their season, because as we mentioned, they've saved all the energy and put all their eggs in the basket now in the Leagues Cup. They don't care what happened in league play now, because most likely they're not going to do very well whatsoever. Maybe even win the wooden spoon this year. But the only way to salvage the season is to win the Leagues Cup, and they're definitely on their way to do so. Moving on into the semifinal, and most importantly, another way for them to salvage the season, maybe even have a chance to qualify the CONCACAF Champions Cup again. Though again, it's not going to be easy, that they're facing against a Seattle Sounders team that, well, yes, the Sounders have kind of looked a little human in the last two games. This is also the team that beat them 4-0, and the Galaxy looked completely outmatched in that game against the Seattle Sounders. So we'll see whether or not if that's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. If there's one thing we learned from the quarterfinal matchup, expect the unexpected, because I don't think anybody expected that all four League MX team was gonna be eliminated after this, and now it's just gonna be pretty much a mini MLS tournament that is. And definitely we definitely don't expect some of the big hitter left in Liga MX, like Toluca and Tigres both went down, and even the minnows like Puebla, a team that is the least likeliest to move on into the next round, turns out to be actually the most likeliest one, and have put their MLS opposition pretty much to the breaks compared to all these Liga MX side. So again, expect the unexpected so far in the Leagues Cup. It kind of reminds me a little bit of last year in the Eastern Conference playoffs, of how much chaos was the name of that playoffs, and it feels like it might be the case again. We might expect a very unexpected Leeds Cup winner, and that also means that if you're a Galaxy fan, maybe that's a good news, because I'm pretty sure they want this chaos. They are the team out of all of the remaining, probably the least likeliest to win this tournament, but they're also the team that is, out of all the team is remaining the tournament, that has the most to lose, and the one that is taking this tournament probably the most serious and a season defining kind of moment, compared to all the other team that, besides the Galaxy, all these other team, even though if they don't win the Leagues Cup, that is, they still have MLS play to do, and all three of the other team are probably going to make it to the playoffs and compete for MLS Cup this year. But there you have it. That is pretty much it for the review of all four of these games. Like I said, hopefully next time, no crazy kickoff. Finger crossed that these semifinal game doesn't have some crazy kickoff that I have to stay up about 11:20 and being very tired in terms of doing these review. Again, I know it is an off day for me. During review this late into the evening, you can kind of tell my fatigue level, that is, and me making some mistake, and my brain start to kind of not function very well when it comes to talk about the notes on the board. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.